Hello, my name is Richard Roll, and welcome to my video of explaining the physical culture of rugby and exploring the connections that it has with the human condition. I've played rugby for just a little over 4 years of my life now, and this will be my first time trying to explain the physical culture behind it, so I hope this helps people who are watching it to understand what rugby is and why or how it interacts with the human condition. For those who don't know, rugby is a 15-a-side team sport where the ultimate objective of the game is to outscore your opponents by grounding the ball behind your opponent's try line. Rugby can be played with either the ball in hand or by kicking it. However, when the ball is being played in hand, the only way to pass the ball to your teammates is by throwing it backwards. The reason for this is because rugby values the progress of the player instead of the progress of the ball, which is often decisive in this sport. Goals can be scored either by grounding the ball behind the opponent's try line or by kicking the ball through the opponent's goal post. The wonderful thing that I liked about rugby was that it didn't take too much to start up and learn in the first place, because the only equipment needed were a pair of soccer or football shoes and a mouthguard. A football or soccer field sometimes isn't even needed if not enough people are playing, since variations can be made to the game to make it more enjoyable, such as shortening the length of the field or even removing the goalpost so that you can only score through grounding the ball behind the opponent's try line. As long as there's a flat surface, anybody can enjoy the wonderful game of rugby. Since rugby is a full contact sport, many newcomers would be frightened by this, but for me, rugby was both an exciting and humbling experience. Many people who have watched or even played the sport will tell you that it is a brutal game and the chances of you finishing the game without injury is incredibly low. However, what is often forgotten and longed for is the exhilarating experience and the surge of adrenaline that rushes into you when you play. Rugby was essentially 80 minutes of a day where I felt like I could let loose and conquer any challenge with my team. I feel that the word teamwork is embodied in rugby, and that is why it is also a humbling experience, since in this game you will never get very far on your own. The type of space that rugby requires is around the same size as a football field, with goalposts at each end. However, there are a few things that people might hear when playing, such as rugby is a gentleman's game, which I have even heard as well. This does not promote inclusivity towards women and can leave bad experiences for the future. Rugby does not pose any financial barriers since very little is needed to play. However, experience goes a long way when it comes to rugby, since mistakes during a game can cost yardage or even possession of the ball. The sport of rugby has always been a team game, which is why interdependence falls heavily in that area. Every single decision on the field is made and responded to in mere seconds, which affects other people's decisions as well. This specific type of interdependence is called reciprocal interdependence. Team members rely on each other in predictable ways, but also work back and forth adjusting to each other's actions. Power is also at play in a rugby game, more specifically, physical power. Power helps create opportunities for teams to succeed and shape the flow of the game. Power helps a player break a tackle, lift a line-out jumper, or push opponents out of a scrum. I believe that there are 4 power resources, which are coaches, players, strategy, and communication. Coaches. Athletes want good coaches who can lead them to victory. This usually comes with some competition, but it also is applied into the next point of players. Strong players are needed on good teams, and coaches sometimes even compete for these players so that they have a higher chance of winning. Strategy and communication go hand in hand on deciding the outcome. These usually come with the coaches and the players, since coaches provide the team with strategy, and players carry out the strategy through good communication and teamwork.